Shabo, who's Vice President of the National Partnership for Women and Families, and Joseph Jones, who is the founder and president and CEO for the Urban Families of Baltimore, Maryland. And I want to note that everybody can go and see a wonderful article about him that was in the Washington Post, the work that they are doing. So I am just thrilled, and I want to thank everybody for coming here today to highlight this very important report and I call upon Congress, as President Obama did in his State of the Union, to take action on family-friendly policies. It's been way too long since family legislation has been taken up by the House. And this is the first report ever in the history of our country on the state of the world's fathers. Too often we focus on leave and child care as women's issues, but these are family issues affecting both fathers and mothers. How fathers engage in parenting and caregiving has a profound impact on the lives of their children and the lives of women. Cliff, my late husband, was an amazing father. While our daughters were growing up, we shared caregiving responsibilities. And oftentimes he took caregiving responsibilities for our daughters, and he took care of them when I had responsibilities in Congress or in the City Council. I saw how effective that dynamic was in our own family. Balancing the demands of work and family should be something all families can do without fear of losing their jobs or losing a paycheck if they're sick. That's why new family-friendly laws have been a top priority of me throughout my career in public service. After all, I lived it. I worked the entire time with my two children, and I know how difficult it is. No question, the American people support paid sick leave by 85%, as reported by the New York Times last June. 8 in 10 Americans support paid leave to parents of new children and those caring for sick family members. And it's time for Congress to listen to the American people and act on this legislation. It is inexcusable that the United States is the only developed country without paid leave for the birth of a child. Our leave policies should be the best in the world, not lagging behind the rest of the world. We are in company with Papua New Guinea and Lesotho, the only 3 countries in the world that do not provide paid leave for the birth of a child. We should pass this immediately in this Congress. The American people also support paid parental leave by huge margins. Men and women should both have an opportunity to welcome and bond and be with their newborn child. But the United States is the only major country that does not provide paid parental leave for the birth of a child. These policies are not just about supporting fathers and mothers, because it's the right thing to do. It's about making sure the United States is competitive around the world, that we build the best possible workforce by providing the best possible support systems for our families. Everyone talks about families and supporting families, but if you look at the policies that are there, they're not in place. We should have flex time, pass the flex time bill, paid sick leave bill, paid leave bill for the birth of a child. I want to thank the National Partnership for Women and Families, Bermuda, and the Center for Urban Families for their work on pushing this legislation. First, I'd like to introduce my colleague and good friend, Congressman Bera, a father from the great state of California and an outstanding representative. Thank you for being here. And I co-sponsored all these important bills.
Thank you, Congresswoman Maloney, for your leadership on this issue. You know, when I think about the most important job I have in my life, the most important title I have is father. And, you know, 18 years ago, this coming October, my wife and I had the best gift in our life. Our daughter was born. I was a practicing physician full-time. My daughter was a third-year medical student. The challenge that occurred, though, our daughter was born premature at 32 weeks. And we adopted her from Florida. So we had to drop everything midstream, fly across the country unexpectedly. And we were fortunate enough to have, you know, I had a great employer that fully understood and gave me that time that I needed to be there with our newly born daughter, and my wife had an understanding medical school that allowed her to take the time that she needed. But that isn't the case for far too many families, far too many men. Now, as I said, the most important job I've ever had is being that title of being a father. Yeah, the carpools, the ability to interact with my daughter's life. When she's been sick, the ability to take time off, because both my wife and I are physicians, and we've both been co-partners in this. This is incredibly important. As the study that's released today demonstrates, early involvement in a child's life is incredibly important. That's why, one of the core causes that I've chosen to fight is the importance of fathers' involvement, not just here in the United States, but all across this country, as we raise the level of girls, as we make sure girls and boys are viewed around the world as co-equals. And it's incredibly important. So I thank Congresswoman Maloney for her leadership on this issue. We'll fight every day to make sure there's parity in family medical leave, that parents can take that time off, and that fathers can have that time to stay involved in their children's life. So thank you for your leadership.
Thank you for your words. I would now like to call to the podium. Some of our other colleagues will be coming. Michael Kaufman, who is the... Oh, Charlie is there. My leader, I didn't know Charlie was here. Charles Rangel from the great state of New York. A wonderful father and a wonderful friend.
Let me thank my father for affording me this courtesy at my age. I'm visiting the position far more often than I used to. But this is a wonderful idea. People don't talk about the importance of having a father in the home. And mothers, of course, have to be given all of the credit for the struggles they have in addition to giving birth. But the fact remains that the government should do all that they can to make it more comfortable for males to participate in the raising of their child. Unfortunately, I did not have that luxury, but I was living in a community at that time, and especially at that time, where fathers could be shared, and everybody on the block would take an interest in you. And of course, I had my beloved grandfather. But all over the world, it just seems to me that a child needs a mother and a father for different reasons. And I can't begin to tell you, coming from a community where over half of the children don't know or have no relationship with their father, how comfortable children feel in just coming to any person that they have confidence in and asking the most simple questions that they just wouldn't ask their mothers or their sisters or the young woman. It just is a part of life and a part of our country. And we have to re-thread this fabric because it's a part of where a child is destined to go in life. Whether we want to admit it or not, we are models. Children should have good models to follow where there's no verbal communication. They can just see and appreciate what they want to be. How blessed your children are. You have two physicians to be idols, to be admired, to be respected, in addition to being parents. So not everyone would be able to have that. But no matter what you have, to have the confidence of a father, that's a friend, that's a mentor, that's a guide, we should support legislation that will allow fathers to spend more time with their children. So now as a grandfather, and at 85, I have to leave to go to the physician's office to make certain that I have more time to spend with my grandchildren. So thank you both for this wonderful opportunity to express how very, very important it is for men to stand up to their moral and legal obligations, and for us to do all we can to enhance these relationships. It's more than just sick leave. It's more than vacation time. There are a lot of reasons why young men don't step up to the plate, and we have to do all we can to remove these social barriers and have more marriages and more fathers that are responsible. Thank you, Val.
Thank you. We are expecting Jared Polis, he may even bring us new baby, but we are going to move forward with the principal author of this important report, the first ever in the history of our country, a state of the world's father, and Michael Kaufman, a senior fellow with Columbia. And hello. Thank you.
So why did we write this report? We wrote it because fathers